Gary, thank you so much for being here today. I was looking forward to getting to talk to you again.
Myself included, and I've said this other places, but I wanted to say on air, all of the interviews that I've done, you're my favorite.
Oh my goodness, well thank you so much. That certainly made my day. I thought it was interesting in reading your new book that you find that we don't dream as much as we used to. And how do you determine that, and why is that even important?
I think, like we were speaking before, we don't like to be disappointed. We don't like to be thought of as doing something wrong or not accomplishing. Another word that we have a tendency to really avoid is the word fail. And the reality is that we don't fail ever. One of the two words that I use a lot, in fact, there are two words on my license plate on my car, is called no try.
No try.
No try, T-R-Y. It's the wisdom of Yoda. And the people, as I have, shared this over the years, they've argued with me. Oh, how about this? We did try, or we attempted, which is a fancy try. So I came up with a little bit of a schematic of what it really is. And when we set out for a result that we want, we make a determination, we make a decision, and then we put action to it, and then we get a result. And when we get a result that we don't want, we say, I tried. So it's a way of backing up, when in reality, it's just a new point of decision. And so when we're dealing with creating get statements, goals, visions for ourselves, we have this tendency to either make very little goals, so where it's like...
We got a better chance.
Absolutely. We're hedging our bet. Or we're making them so large that we get very discouraged very quickly. But I really think that we have been taught not to dream. And because of that, we have no raw material to go from. When I ask them, what do you want? Where are you going? They go, I don't know. And that's almost like the Alice in Wonderland, when Alice asked the Cheshire Cat, or the Cheshire Cat actually asked Alice, where are you going? She says, I don't know. And he says, well, any road will take you there.
Oh, that's true.
And so doing this is really important, no matter where you are, whether it be in business, your personal life, physically, mentally, spiritually, it doesn't really matter. If you don't know what that end result is, in fact, Stephen Covey had a very famous statement, start with the end in mind. And
That's
so
important.
that if we don't know that, then how do we know what to put in place? How to invest our time, money, and resources in order for the result that we want?
Well, that's true. How will we know if we ever get there?
Right.
If we don't even know
And
where
that's
we're
the other
going.
side. When do we celebrate? If we don't know where the goal line is, how do we know when we
That's
scored?
true. And I liked when it talked about celebrating little things. We don't have to wait till the journey's over, because we may not know it's over anyway.
Well, when I was 20, I knew that I knew everything, right?
Uh-huh.
And the older I have gotten, we've talked about that earlier as well, we're not old, we're older. Is that I realized the more that I know, there's more that I know that I don't know. And so there's always a new plateau, there's always another level, which also led to a process that I just started teaching here about a year ago, is 4 words. Many times we'll do something, we'll have a goal, but then we accomplish it and it's a so what. A so what is a period. And so let's translate that over into so that. So that takes us to another level, another place, another, opportunity. I could. And that old adage on TV about that drink, I could have had a V8. The things that we pass up just because we think they're not available to us. But we've never even gone out and asked for the help, asked for the connection. And the worst that can happen is someone say no, which is just another opportunity to reboot.
To reboot. Well, and when you brought that up about, I think my problem has been in the past is if I have something in mind, I may not stick with it because I don't really know how to get there.
Yes.
But the asking for help, and for some people, I don't think it's one of my faults. I ask a lot of questions, but I do think for some people it's hard to admit that you need help.
Oh, absolutely. We've been taught, particularly, and again, in North America, when I've dealt with my clients in other countries, I don't see this as much. But we have this individual perspective. If it's going to, be, it's up to me. I got to have this, pioneering spirit, and we have gone from that age of agrarian over to the industrial age to the age of information. And now I think we're truly coming into the age of community. And because we are all so specialized, if we don't go together, we're going to be missing pieces of what it is that we're wanting to achieve, and it's also going to take us longer.
Well, that's certainly true. Let's talk a little bit about what you call a personal vivid vision. We've talked about setting goals and,
Yes.
and why and how we should do those, and dreaming. But let's explain about the vision.
The vision, it's a 3-step process, and it's a little bit unique. That dreaming side of it, people again have that aversion to it. They pull back. But I came up with 5 questions that really touch in every area of your life, whether it be personal, financial, business, family relationships, mental, or spiritual. And so they are, what do I want to do? What do I want to have? What do I want to give? What do I want to be, and where do I want to go? And so when we ask ourselves these questions, we're going to have things pop up into our mind, and it's going to be really critical to write them down as soon as they pop into your mind. Capture it. Because this is not a list of things that you're going to commit to doing. This is your raw possibility list of things that you can choose to do if you so choose to do it later on. Now, there's something that happens when you go through this exercise. And by the way, I recommend only doing this for about 10 minutes at a time, because there's an urgency that is built into that. You're going to not have this mind wandering as many of us do. We're squirrels, we're creatives. And so what happens is that when we write something, or we ask ourselves, what do I want? And we say, Lamborghini. Where'd that come from? Now we have this little voice in our head. Who do you think you are? You're not going to.
Why do you deserve that?
Why do you deserve? In fact, that is a major component of why people don't achieve the things that they have the ability to actually receive.
They don't think they deserve it.
They don't deserve it. And then that's been taught to us, by the way. So if it's been taught to us, we can unlearn and put something in its place. And so, but these 5 questions gives us that raw material to go back to. So again, this is not necessarily things that we're going to actually do, but it's something that we're going to go back to and say, okay, what would I like to put on my list now? And so then it takes us to the second step of creating a goal. And for me, it's a very simple step, because you set a date of accomplishment.
Not a deadline.
Not a
That
deadline.
was really interesting.
I don't like words that have dead in them anyway. It is I have this aversion to that. But the history, how words are created, how do we put words into our society? And the word deadline came out of the Civil War, where the soldiers were capturing the opposite forces at such a rate. They didn't have the resources or the time to create stockades. So they would take the butt of their rifle, draw a line in the dirt, and say, you stay on that side, you live. You cross that line, you're dead. And it became known
I
as
had
a
never
deadline.
heard that before. That was interesting.
And so it's also that point in time that it has to happen. And so instead of focusing on the creativity side of creating the result, we're creating on the negative side of, if I don't make it, then I fail.
I failed.
So that date of accomplishment is truly something that is really important. So you're taking 8 to 10 things out of your I call it your Christmas list, and you put your date of accomplishment. Now, the date of accomplishment needs to be within 12 to 18 months, because anything more than that, we have no urgency.
Right.
And so
Maybe.
I'm going to lose 20 pounds in 3 years. Well, you show up at the gym in 2 years, 6 months, maybe. And so that date of accomplishment needs to be in that framework. And then it's creating the vivid vision. And that's actually describing that actual result in that phraseology.
Because you can see it then. It becomes more real.
Yes.
Well, I wish we could just talk about this a long time, but I do hope people will check out the book and the website, because there's something, I love to learn something new every day, and I learned a lot from your book. Thank you so much for being here.
You're very welcome.